this message is just for you. You are good enough. This is the episode for you. If you are thinking of going back to a language after a break, or you already have and you're feeling really rusty, or you're worried you've forgotten everything you ever learned, I made this video just for you. So in the video game Animal Crossing, if you don't play for a long time, weeds spring up all around your island and cockroaches come and take up residence in your house. And if you stop using your new language for a while and then you come back to it, okay, there might not be any unwelcome wildlife to contend with, but there is definitely some metaphorical dust to shift and weeds to pull up. And even if the break wasn't that long, the rustiness can manifest itself in so many ways, and I'm just going to list them quickly so that you know that this is all normal. It might be that the words that you want just take longer to come to mind, or that another language that you've been studying is interfering more than normal. It might be that you're more nervous speaking than you were before, or you make mistakes that you thought you'd eradicated years ago. And even in the studying process itself, if that break was a break from all kinds of studying rather than just your language, you might well find that your rhythm is completely off there too. Things like you're struggling to remember things, you're less conditioned to look for accent marks or certain particles, or your tones are off. And it might leave you feeling, when you go away after your first few sessions back, like you're just not as good as you remember yourself being. And that can be pretty demoralizing. So if this is you, I just wanted to pop in today and reassure you that this is normal and it will get easier again. And there are two metaphors that I wanted to share that might help and that bring us a whole load of wisdom. And you will probably know very quickly which one best fits your situation. So the first one is the idea that coming back to a language is like coming back to the gym after a long holiday. The first few sessions back are just harder. You are not at peak performance at all, and yet even so, you hobble around the house for the next few days like you just gave the performance of a lifetime. And the gym metaphor works so well because it also accounts for the situations where you didn't take a break from the whole language at all. You just took a break from one aspect of it. You kept using it, but just not in all the ways. Maybe for the last few months you went all in on reading and writing and grammar, and then you come back to speaking and you panic because you find that the reality is not matching up to how you remembered it. You skip leg day a lot. And so you have to be patient with yourself and resist the urge to push and beat yourself up about the fact that you can't just pick up where you left off. You're going to need to come into this lowering your expectations just a few notches for your vocabulary, your grammar, your overall speed of thinking, maybe your discipline, but remembering that it's just for now. You have to give yourself this time, and doing that won't make you lazy in the long run. It won't set you back further. It's just a necessary part of the process of coming back to your language. And the second metaphor is the old friend metaphor. And this is particularly for people for whom this break was a few years, maybe even a few decades, rather than just like having the summer off. If you met an old friend for coffee, You haven't seen them for years and years. There might be a little part of you that goes in expecting them to be almost exactly as you remember them from your school days, from your university days, from your young adulthood. But chances are they probably won't be. And you're gonna find pretty quickly that you need some time to catch up and bring you both into the present moment. And that getting to know you phase, it might look like spending a shorter amount of time together at the beginning in case you annoy each other now, in case you're not compatible now, in case actually you kind of need an escape. It might also look like meeting them where they are now and as they are now, bringing each other up to speed on what's new, but then reminiscing over the good old days, because that's where your connection was born. And it's going to look very similar in Language Learning 2.0. You are different now. Your language might also subtly be different now. But more than that, language learning as an industry, as a community, as a whole world might have changed beyond recognition. So get to know your language again. Plan the short, metaphorical coffee dates with your language where you go in with no real expectations and just see what it's all like now. And then, if you want to, go back to the things that you loved to do together. That might look like rewatching series that you used to watch before, listening to music that you used to love the last time round, old news, old popular culture, old study methods. Touch base with all of it if that is where your connection was born. But regardless of how you approach this, make sure to remember that you get to decide what you keep from last time. Coming back to your language, your path might have changed now. You are not the same person as you were then in so many ways. Your goals and your motivation for returning might well be different, and there might be options available for learning your language now that just didn't exist back then. So before you rush back to business as usual, check in with what's still working. Look carefully at what's aligned with your new self and your new goals, and also the new circumstances that you're working in. Going back after a break, you can't always predict what it's going to feel like. So if your latest conversation or your latest study session hasn't gone as you expected, don't panic. You haven't completely forgotten your language, and this is not the end of the world. Just be patient with yourself, and you will get there sooner than you think. Have a wonderful day. If you found this video helpful, please like it, because it tells me that I'm telling you what you need to know. Good luck today, and I will see you tomorrow.